I get asked these questions all the time from pest control owners. So today I'm answering the biggest questions around marketing, sales, growth, hiring, leadership, operations, everything you can think of for pest control companies. Let's get started. What is the fastest way to hit $1 million of annual revenue? Most owners are asking the wrong question here. You don't want to ask yourself how to hit $1 million the fastest. You want to first understand what is your ultimate goal, because the path to hit $1 million the fastest is not the path to hit $5 million the fastest. You need to understand, what am I optimizing for? What is my end goal? Because if you want to get past $1 million, then you don't want to do the fastest route to $1 million. For example, if you just want to hit $1 million of annual revenue, you can do that pretty quickly by getting a few buddies or hiring a door-to-door team. And in 1 or 2 summers, you can get $1 million pretty quickly. But the fastest way to do that is not the fastest way to get to 5 million or 10 million, because if you do it that route, you could have high cancellations, high tech turnover, high customer turnover, high resurfaces, not the best reviews on Google. So certain things can happen that's going to stop you from getting to 2, 3, 4, $5 million faster. So first think of, what is my ultimate goal? How big do I want to get this company? Now, once you identify that, let's say it's $5 million. Now think of, what's the fastest way to get there? Because you're going to need a bigger and stronger foundation in your company than you would if you're only trying to get to $1 million. You're going to need better processes, better systems, better people in place, better leaders, better tracking, more avenues of marketing. So think through, what is my ultimate goal? And if it's 5 million, okay, let's build out the process to get there. Now let's start there. Let's start building the foundation of getting these systems in place, these people, these processes. That's going to get us way past $1 million. Now, there could be another company that starts at the same time as you and they get to $1 million before you get to $1 million, but that's okay, because your goal and your pace is different. It's like running a marathon. If you want to run a marathon, you're not going to sprint the whole way. The first 100 meters, if someone's just running 100 meters, they're going to get there faster, but you're running a marathon, so you're going to go at a slower pace because you need that endurance to go the longer distance. So think through, what is my ultimate goal? What is the foundation needed to hit that goal? And then build the foundations in the process so you can get there the fastest, not just to $1 million. Why have I been stuck at the same revenue for the last 5 years? It's probably not because you need to do more. You probably need to do less. The reason most owners get stuck is because they do more. They get too excited. A lot of owners have ADD and they just want to do more and more and more. Any new idea, any new system, any new software, any new person, they just want to do more things. And so what happens is, a lot of times what got you to where you're at is something you stopped doing, and now you're trying something new or different, or you're spread thin across 5 or 10 different things. So you might have started just doing one thing as far as getting new customers from Google or word of mouth or referrals or one key channel, and now you've opened it up to 10 different channels because all these vendors are calling you, all these marketing channels are calling you, and they want your money, and you said yes to everyone because you want to grow faster. But you didn't realize that by saying yes to everyone and by opening up all these new doors, you slowed down your own growth, because now your money's spread thin, your time spread thin, you can't track things as clearly as you could when it's just one thing, and now your efforts spread thin too. So whatever you're doing when you first started, think of what that is and go back to doing that. If you just do that one thing, that one channel, that one strategy, that one thing, you're going to grow a lot faster. And the other thing is, a lot of owners get stuck or plateau because they lose the hunger, they lose the desire that they first had. When you first started your business, you needed to grow. There was no other option. And so you found ways to work hard, to grow, to get new customers, to get new referrals, to just push your business forward at all costs. And now that you're at a certain mark, you don't have that same urgency or need to grow your company. So you might have just stepped the foot off the gas just a little bit. So number one, figure out, what is the one thing that got me here? Let's start doing that. And let's start doing that more than I currently am. More effort on one thing will get you a lot. Doing more effort and spending more time on just one thing is going to be what gets you past where you currently are. What is the biggest pitfall of pest control owners? This is probably the biggest mistake I see time and time again. I talk to pest control owners, and the biggest mistake I see is they spread themselves too thin. They say yes too often to new opportunities. So they start out as a pest control company and they're just doing pest control, and all of a sudden they have customers that need termite control. Okay, so they do termites, and then they have rodent control, and then they do that. And then someone needs their fence repair. All of a sudden they're repairing fence, and then they need their driveway power sprayed, and they already have a power sprayer on their truck, so they say, hey, I'll power spray that for you. Now they're doing garage doors. Now they're doing gutters. I've seen companies go from being pest control companies to literally being painting companies or pressure washing companies, because they just keep saying yes to everything their customer needs. So weed control, bird control, power spraying, everything in between. They're just doing everything, and now they're spreading their systems this way rather than going forward. And so if you own a pest control company, stop going horizontal, go vertical. The number one reason why this happens is because the owner isn't confident that they can get more customers. And so what they do is they spend too much time trying to get more out of their current customers. They go horizontal, get more and more and more. But what's going to happen is, number one, you're spreading yourself way too thin across way too many services, and you're eventually going to hit a wall. You can't go any wider. You need to figure out how to market and sell new customers. That's the only way to grow your business. So stop saying yes to new services and only say yes to more of your current service. Find a way to go get more customers. And if you keep yourself in this lane and keep yourself controlled to just one service, force yourself to get more general pest customers, you're going to get more. Take it off the equation that you can say yes to more services. Say no, delegate those or refer those out. Just get more customers on your current general pest plan. What platform can I get the best leads from? If you're asking about the best platform, you're asking the wrong question. It's not about the platform. It's all about the offer. So many owners want to know, where do the best leads come from? Think about it. Everyone in your market is on everything. They're on Google, they're on Facebook, they're on Instagram. People are on every single platform. So it's not about the platform. It's about, how can you entice more people to say yes to what you're offering? How can you give them more reason to click, or more reason to call, or more reason to text? Give them bigger or more desire to contact your company. Too many pest control companies just have the most generic or weak offer. So they just say $20 off if you call on today, or $50 off if you sign up for a year-long contract. Everyone's heard that, and it's not very enticing. It doesn't push someone over the edge if they're just thinking about pest control, or especially if they're not even thinking about it yet. You want to have an offer so good that if someone didn't wake up thinking about pest control, it's not even on their mind, they would be enticed to say yes or to call you because it's that good. Make an offer that's so good. Once you have an offer that's good, it will work across any platform. It'll work on Instagram, Facebook, Google, Yelp, Angie's List, whatever, because leads are coming in no matter what. It's about what can you give them, what can you offer them, so they're going to say yes to you rather than anyone else. So you're going to get leads anywhere, but it's about giving them the best offer possible, making sure that you're premium price too, so you're making more on every customer. And if you have a great offer and great pricing, you can reinvest that and get bigger and bigger returns because you can spend more on marketing than any of your competitors can. So focus on your offer first, your pricing second. Don't focus on the platform itself. So 2 numbers I would look at really quickly in your business is number 1, what is my customer acquisition cost? If I'm spending $100 per lead and I close 1 out of every 2 leads, okay, that's $200 per customer. Now, how much is this customer going to pay me in that first year of service? Is it 500, 600, 700? Figure out how can I get that number higher? Try to double it. So try to get customer acquisition costs down by selling more of your leads, doing better follow-up, having a better offer, a better sales process in place so you can sell at a higher rate. Then on the back end, convert it into a higher amount. So rather than just your general pest plan, find a way to convert those customers to pay you more right out the gate. So sell them on general pest and then right away get out there for an inspection or some sort of extra add-on that they don't currently have. So at that point, you're converting more with the same spend and you're getting more on the back end. So then you can reinvest more and more and more. So it's not about having a certain percentage. It's about figuring out how can I leverage my numbers to convert a higher amount and then make more on each customer. So then I can outspend all my competitors. And if I'm outspending my competitors, I'm going to get more leads. And it's just a growth flywheel that just grows and grows and grows. Should I hire a marketing agency? Now, before you ask yourself that question, ask yourself this. What am I actually trying to solve for in my company? Am I trying to hire a marketing agency because I don't know how to get leads? Or am I just trying to hire one so I can get more and more leads on top of what I already am generating myself? If you're trying to hire an agency because you don't know how to market, I would say no, do not hire them. Because what can happen is this agency may do well for you and your company, but now they have full leverage over your company because you need them more than they need you. They can raise their prices, they can have bad performance, they can have off months, but you still need them because if they walk away, then you have no leads in your company. So if you have a skill deficit as an owner, first focus on how you can acquire that skill, maybe pay someone to teach you, or just do trial and error, or talk to your friends or competitors about what they're doing. Develop that skill first so that you have control in your business and you know that worst case scenario, if everything else fails, you can get more customers in your own company. Focus on that first. If you already have great leads coming in and you're already growing your business, I would still focus on your own leads and how to do more of what you currently have. There's very few times when I'd outsource it to a marketing agency because they're only doing a few hours per week of work for $1,000 per month. And so if you can bring someone in-house who can do 40 hours per week and do better work and do it faster and more, I'd rather do that instead. So focus on your own sales process, your own ads, your own marketing, your own leads, your own follow-up, your own everything, rather than giving out to someone else who's going to do a fraction of the work for way more of the cost. So focus on that. Focus on what am I trying to solve. If it's a skill, then go get that skill. If it's trying to get more, just do more internally in your own company. Should I run Google ads in my pest company? Now, so many people are saying Google is getting worse and worse and worse. I say, yes, spend on Google. Now, there's 2 parts to Google. There's LSA and there's PPC. I would say don't spend on PPC yet. If you're new to Google, if you don't know what you're doing, keep that off. Don't even worry about that. Just spend on LSA. LSA is one of the most reliable, easy ways to get new and qualified leads in your company. And it's really consistent. So turn on LSA. You're probably going to spend anywhere from like 75 to like 125 per lead that comes in. They're usually pretty qualified. And so if you can close 1 out of every 2, then you're selling new customers for about $200 per customer. That's not bad if you can make a lot on the back end of that customer. So spend on LSA. I wouldn't touch PPC. You can burn a lot of money and waste a lot of money if you don't know what you're doing. So I'd save that on the back end of things. But if you're not on LSA already, go there right now and turn it on because it's going to boost your page. You're going to be verified. You're going to get more calls coming in than you currently are. One of the easiest ways to get more customers that are high quality into your company. How much should I spend on SEO each month? Okay, let me give you a formula for this. That's going to give you the exact number. Take last month's revenue. So let's say it's 90K of revenue. Multiply that by 0. That's your answer. 0. Don't spend anything on SEO. If you're under $3 million of annual revenue, do not spend on SEO. There's so many better and faster ways to grow your company than SEO. The other thing is SEO nowadays is a lot of AI and just passive things that the company says they're doing, but they're not really doing anything. It's also hard to attribute how much is it that they're actually doing versus your just organic growth of getting new reviews and more people visiting your page. So it's hard to actually attribute how much they're actually doing versus what's just naturally happening in your company. So do not spend on SEO. If you want to grow your Google page and get more presence online, focus on getting more Google reviews. In a day of AI and so many things that are fake or automated, the only thing that you cannot fake is proof, reviews, customers saying good things about you. So focus on getting all of your customers to leave reviews, hopefully leaving pictures as well to show and say that this company is legit. They do good work. You can't fake that at all. So focus on getting more and more proof. That's going to boost your page more organically for free. You're going to get more calls and that's going to grow your Google presence. If you want to spend anything, do not spend it on SEO, spend it on just ads. You can get a faster and quicker return on ads. SEO is going to take 6 to 12 to 18 months to get any sort of return. And so you're really just burning money in the meantime, rather than just pulling that money over here, spending on ads and growth right now. So that way you can grow faster, get ahead of where you would be with SEO. And now have more money to spend on SEO if I want to eventually. This way I'm growing faster and growing my SEO presence organically. So I would say no SEO if you're under $5 million of annual revenue. Focus on other ways to grow, spend your money there, you can get faster returns. And if you want, focus on Google reviews. That's the biggest thing you need to focus for your online presence right now. How many Google reviews should I have on my page? Now, most owners are way below this number. You should have between 30 to 40% of your customer count in Google reviews. So if I have 1,000 customers, you should have between 300 to 400 reviews. Now, if you have more, that's great. You're killing it. If you have less, you really want to push to get more. Think of it this way. If you're looking for a service and you Google, let's say HVAC companies, if you find a company that has 25 reviews or 75 reviews, you might think to yourself, that's probably a brand new company. That's probably a father and son company. It's probably a newer company. And so I'm going to go with a company that has 500 or 1,000 or 2,000 reviews because they've obviously been around. They know what they're doing and a lot of people trust them. When in reality, maybe that company that has 25 reviews has been around for 25 years and does great work. They just haven't pushed it online. I've seen a ton of pest control companies that are like that. They have thousands of customers, but their Google reviews is under 100. So make sure that your Google presence matches and reflects the size of your company. If it doesn't, make that a priority for yourself right now to go get more reviews, incentivize your technicians, give them $5 per review they get, set up some automations in your CRM. And so after every single service, the customers get texted, and make sure it's really easy for customers to leave reviews. If there's any hoops or hurdles or things or blockers for customers, they're not going to leave a review. So take them right to the Google page, right to where it says leave a review, and make it really easy for them to leave a review. Get your count to around 30 to 40% of your customers on Google, and you'll be in a really good spot. Should I use AI answering services? In a lot of areas, it's good to be ahead of the curve and new school, but in some areas, it's really good to be old school. So this is one where you want to be old school. AI is really good at analyzing data or sorting things or doing automations. As far as voices and answering services and talking to customers, you want to keep that in your company. I've used AI services for talking to people, and most people nowadays are shifting back to wanting to just talk to humans. They realize when it's automation, they realize when it's AI, and they just want to talk to a real person that can get them real answers to their questions and help them out right now. So if you use an AI service, you might use it for scheduling or billing calls, but I would for sure not use it for sales calls. Any sales call needs to come to a human. I'm talking to that person because I'm going to close them way more, way faster at a way higher price than any AI will. So keep sales calls for you and your company. I would recommend keeping all calls for you and your people, and use AI for simple things that are automated for reminders or review automations or for scheduling or for things that just take a lot of manual work. Your time is best spent talking to customers and selling them, because if it's a 5-minute conversation and you sell them a $600 annual contract value, that's a lot of value for your time. So keep sales conversations for you, turn off any AI answering services you have, and keep it all for you and your team. I'm thinking of bringing on a door-to-door team. How should I go about it? Honestly, don't. Just don't. If you haven't been in door-to-door yet, then you don't even know what it takes. It's way more expensive, way more time consuming, way more frustrating. You'll have way more headaches than you ever realize. I would not even touch it if you haven't had any experience in door-to-door. I see so many owners who are smaller operators or a few technicians, and they think, oh, I could blow up my business. I could 3 or 4x in a summer if I bring on door-to-door guys. You have no idea what you're signing up for. It's a whole different world than what you're used to or what you've ever experienced. So there's the training, there's the housing, there's the incentives, there's the commissions, there's everything in between. There's so much that you've never experienced. And I would just say, don't even touch that. Keep focusing on what you're currently doing. Whatever you're currently doing is good enough. Now, if you try to go the door-to-door route and bring on a team, you're probably going to set yourself back a couple years rather than just focusing on what you're currently doing and getting more customers from Google or Facebook or word of mouth or referrals or anything you're currently doing. Focus on that. Just keep that dialed in. I've seen too many owners get burned or spend way too much money or just sign up for something they're not ready for, and then it just puts them back for several years. So the only time where I would recommend door-to-door is if you have experience in door-to-door. So you've either done it as a sales rep or you've been a part of it, or you're sitting on a ton of money. So you can basically pay your way to learn all the ins and outs of the industry and pay your way to be successful in door-to-door. You either need to learn it with time and your own sweat equity, or paying your way there and hiring people who can just manage it all and do it all for you, which is pretty rare if you're a smaller company. So if you have experience in the industry, okay, bring on a couple guys, recruit guys, and build up a team, and that's great because you know the ins and outs. But if that's you probably don't know the ins and outs of the operations on the back end of thing, of all the new customers and the services and the operations that go with door-to-door. You're probably just used to being a sales rep. And so either way, there's so much you need to learn with door-to-door. I would just say, no, forget about it. It's super enticing. It looks good on paper. You see all the Facebook posts of all these companies blowing up overnight with door-to-door, but you don't see all the pain, all the money lost, all the scams, all those other things that no one talks about, because it's just a really, really messy thing if you've never been a part of it. So don't even bother with door-to-door. Just keep doing what you're currently doing. Should I give quotes in person or over the phone? Now, this shocks me that this is still even a question, and I see so many owners doing this wrong. Only do it over the phone. You are wasting so much time if you're giving quotes in person. Too many owners think, oh, I got to go in front of the customer. I got to be at their house. I got to show them on their property what we're going to do. That's not the case. If someone is talking to you on the phone, they are ready to sign up for pest control, whether you think it or not. You can sell someone in 5 or 10 minutes over a phone call, easier and faster than you can on a property. The other thing is, if you're waiting to get on their property, that's likely going to take you at least several hours, if not several days to get out there. And so you're losing the interest and the intrigue of the customer of when they need it the most. And you're likely losing a lot of leads, people that do sell over the phone. So totally remove and forget about doing quotes in person. You don't need to do that. What you really need to focus on, how can I dial in my sales process? How can I create enough need and interest and desire from a customer over the phone so they can sign up right now? So the key is to ask really good questions so to let them relive the experience or whatever they have right now. So ask them questions like, how long have you been noticing them? Where are they? Are they inside or are they outside? Are they big or are they small? Are they swarms or are they trails? What have you tried? How long has it been? Ask them all those questions and they'll just tell it all to you, and they're going to relive it in their mind, in their feelings, and they're going to know, hey, I need this now. This has been a problem long enough. So create a problem, then solve the problem, and then close the customer. So create a need, let them relive it, solve it by explaining your service, and then give them a really, really good deal to sign up today. That's it. No need to go in person. The only time you should go in person is to go service the house that next day once they sign up over the phone. Should I offer one-time services in my pest control company? Yes, if you don't want to grow your business. Too many owners do one-time services because they don't want to leave money on the table. They want to do every service possible and they think, hey, I might as well do this $150 service because they want a one-time service. Don't do it. You're actually leaving more money on the table by doing those one-time services. So by saying no to one-time services, you're leaving a little money on the table, but by saying yes, you're leaving big money on the table. What you need to focus on instead is, how can I convert more of these people into recurring customers, and how can I make it more enticing for them to say yes on a recurring plan? Because if they need a one-time service, they need recurring. That's just the nature of pest control. They're convincing you that they don't need it, and so you just got sold rather than selling the customer. So focus on your sales process, discovering what their need is or what their issue is, and how can I adjust my pricing and the terms of my agreement so that the recurring option is the better option. The best way to do this is to use an anchor price and then discount on a recurring plan. So after I go through all my sales process and asking what they're seeing and what they need and tell them what we do, I'll pitch it like this. I'll say, hey, normally for a house your size, it would be $399 for that first service, but we're doing a special this week. For any new customers who sign up with us, they're getting that first service for half price. So just $199. And then each service after that is the discounted rate as well. So $199 per quarter. So you can either just pause or you can close them right there. Now what happens if they ask for a one-time service and they say, oh yeah, what about just a one-time service at the $199? I'll let them know, hey, if you want a one-time service, it's going to be the full $399. To get you the best results and to save you the most money, we would come out every quarter for you at that discounted price so we can take care of the bugs for you. And that way also, if you need anything at all in between, you don't need to go to Home Depot or do anything yourself. You just call us and we come back free on top of it. So you're getting full coverage the entire year. People will sign up for a recurring service even if they call on saying they just want a one-time service up front. Don't let your customers sell you. You need to sell your customers. Should I hire a technician or an office person first? This is probably one of the easiest answers, and I don't know why I get so much debate online. Think of how much time each takes. So a technician is literally 40 hours per week in the truck, actively servicing houses. An office person may be active for 40 hours per week, but how much actual work does it take? It might be 10 to 15 hours where you're currently at. If you're thinking of hiring one or the other, the office likely only takes 10 to 15 hours per week. So I would rather hire out 40 hours of my week and then take over the 10 hours per week and keep that so I can keep doing that. Also, there's really easy ways to automate or just streamline anything that you do in the office. So scheduling or billing or reminders or any of that kind of stuff. And so really it can be like 5 or 10 hours per week that you actually have to keep doing. And now you hired out 40 hours per week and you save yourself 40 hours per week that you can now focus on sales and growth. If you do the opposite, if you hire a full-time office person, now you save yourself maybe 10 hours per week, but you're still in the field 40 hours per week and now you have no time to grow your business. So when people do it that way, hire office first and they keep teching, it might feel good because you love being the guy servicing houses and keeping that really close to chest, but now you can't grow your business. And now you get really stuck because you're stuck doing services. You have no time to scale and to market, and you don't have any more money to hire a tech until you're really stuck. Always hire a technician first. It's also going to force you to grow your business because if you have a technician, now there's more demand and there's more need because you're going to pay this guy either way. So you're going to be really, really hungry to go sell more and more and more. It's going to force you to grow rather than just hiring an office person. So definitely go tech first, office second. When should I hire an office manager for my pest company? Never. I would never hire an office manager. I would always promote an office manager. If you're thinking of hiring an office manager, then you're likely at a stage of growth where things are moving pretty fast, and you probably also already have an office admin or assistant in your company. The best thing to do is just promote this person and create a path for them to be the office manager. Now, if you think, oh, they might not be cut out for it, that says more about you and your company than it says about this person. In your company, you should have everything built out with the role, with the structure, with the SOPs, with the trainings, with the processes, so that anyone can become that role in the company. And if they're already an office admin in your company, then they're just one step away from becoming an office manager. You just need to pave the way for this person. So get everything in place, whatever's needed, processes, systems, scripts, responsibilities, KPIs, so this person can become the office manager. You're going to save yourself so much time because if you bring someone new just from out of the company, now you need to retrain them on everything. Who's who, what's what, how we do services, how we talk to customers, how we schedule, how we bill, bill, how we do everything. I'd rather just promote this person and give them a little bit more responsibility, bump their pay. It saves you a ton of time because if you're thinking about this, you probably are already growing pretty fast. And so I'd rather just keep growing fast and bump this person up than try to bring someone from outside in and try to retrain them on everything. Where do you go to find the best employees? It's probably all the same places you're currently looking. You're just doing it wrong. So number one is go to your current people and get referrals. So technicians, office people, ask them, are there any friends, family, anyone you know that is looking for work or open to a new job? Because they might not be looking for work, but if they have a better opportunity, then they could be open to taking a new job. So these people already know your services, your culture, your expectations, your standards, your communication style. They know everything. And so if you can get someone that they know, they're probably similar to them already. So they probably have the same standards or similar standards, and so they'd be a really good fit. Plus, any referral as far as an employee goes is likely to stay with you a lot longer because they already have a friend or someone they trust and know in the company. So they're going to enjoy work more and be likely to stay longer because they know people there and they're having fun there. So number one, go to your current people, offer them money. It could be a couple $100 because it's going to save you a ton of time from posting and doing all that. So be willing to pay for it and you'll get a lot of referrals coming in, and then you can find someone good there. On the flip side, you can also use Indeed. This is the best place to find people. If you're not finding anyone good on Indeed, you're just doing it wrong. The biggest mistakes I see is people posting the pest control in the title. So pest control assistant or pest control technician, take pest control out. No one wants to do pest control, or anyone that does want to do pest control is likely leaving their last job in pest control because they were fired or just unhappy with the boss there and they're just not a good fit for you. So take pest control off and just say service technician or just say office administrator. If you just have that key role and key title, you're going to get everyone who's ever been that role. So anyone who's been a service technician for HVAC or for AC or for plumbing or for roofing or for anything like that, they've been a technician. So they're going to be a really good fit because they already have that work ethic and you just need to train them on pest control. Or they've already been an office person, so they already have that. You can find amazing people on Indeed. All you need to do is just post a job, keep pest control out of the title, boost the post about $20 per day. And within a week, you're going to have 50 to 100 applicants that are solid. You can shave that down to about 5 or 10 you bring in for interview. And then of those 5 or 10, you're going to bring in 2 or 3 for an in-person day, either a ride along or in person in the office. And then after that, the top person is going to be hired on for a 90 to 120 day probationary period before you hire them full time with you. So really easy process. It's going to cost you about 100, $150, but you're going to get someone really, really good. And that's the way to do it. What should I look for during the hiring and interview process with new employees? Man, this is one that I see so many owners do really, really wrong. I see owners that have literally 3 or 4 or 5 interviews in their process. They also have assessments or tests or quizzes, and there's so many layers to it that they think is awesome because they're thinking they're going to vet out everyone and find the best person. You're not going to find the best person in the interview process. I look for people and I just want to get them in person as quickly as possible. So my interview process is really quick and it's really short, and it's meant to screen people out really quickly and let them basically self-opt out. And then I want to get them in person on the job doing services or taking calls so I can see how they actually are. Anyone can interview well, but not anyone can be a really good technician or a really good office person. I look for who they are as people. So one really good question to ask them is, how would your last boss or manager describe you? Or what would they say about you? One of two things is going to happen. They're either going to say really good things and say, hey, you know what? He'd say awesome things. I was always on time. I was early most days and I was a top performer and I was always honest and I was a team leader. And I'd say all those things and you'll quickly know this person's legit. Or they'll say something like, hey, he'd probably say, you know, that I was late sometimes, but he was a jerk too. He didn't really see the value in me, potential in me. I was there a long time. He never promoted me. So I don't really trust what he says. That's going to tell you so much more about this applicant than it's going to tell you about their boss or manager. You'll really quickly know this is someone who doesn't take responsibility or always blames other people. So I'm going to pass on this person really quickly. So ask questions that let them expose their own character and ask them what they value and ask them about core values in your company. So I don't care anything about their experience in pest control or as a technician or on the phones. I don't care about those things. I can train those things. It's going to take me a lot longer to train honesty and hard work and ethics and all those things. That can take years, but I can train someone to be a good technician. If they have these things already, I can train them to be a good technician in 3 or 4 days. So I don't want to train values. I just want to train skill. So look for someone who already has the values and then get them in the door as quickly as possible to do a ride along to see how they perform in person. There's people that can interview really well and talk the talk and then 2 hours in the heat and they're already complaining. I don't want those people. Get the people that can work hard, that have the right values, and that you can train the skills. And those are the people you want to look for in your interview process. Make it as easy and smooth as possible. Make it so you quickly opt people out and just get the right people in as quickly as possible. I see so many owners that do this completely wrong. I would not pay salary. I would not pay production. What you need to think about is your pay to your technicians needs to be aligned with what you value and what you want to incentivize. So if someone is being paid salary, what is that saying? It's a fixed amount year over year, no matter what. You're giving them no reason to go above and beyond. You're giving them no pay based on the standard of the work they do, and there's no reason to take on extra jobs. If you pay production and it's a percentage of what they do every single day, you're incentivizing them to get more done. Now that might sound good on paper, but what's going to happen is they're more likely to take the bigger jobs. On the smaller jobs, they're less likely to do good work, and they're more likely to just rush through jobs because the more they get done, the more they get paid. To me as an owner, that's not what I want. I want my technicians to be incentivized to do really, really good work and to do high quality jobs and consistently. And I want them to be incentivized to go above and beyond as well. So I'm going to pay them them a strong hourly base because I want them to be just incentivized to work hard hour after hour. And on top of that, I'm going to pay bonuses based on production to the service standard. So how long are they spending at the house? How many reviews are they getting? Are they leaving detailed notes and pictures in every single customer account? If they're doing those things, that's a really quality service and they're taking their time there because there's no rush to get through them. Pay based on what you want to incentivize and ask yourself, am I paying based on what I want my guys to do? Most companies aren't. They're only paying based on what they've heard in the industry. So forget about salary, forget about production, pay your guys a strong hourly base and bonuses attached to performance. How can I find better employees for my company? You're actually asking the completely wrong question. Any good company has processes and systems in place that can turn anyone into a great employee. So if you don't have good people in your company, that's not a reflection of the job pool or the people in your area. It's a reflection of your company and the processes you have. So ideally, anyone can be picked off the street, put into your company and be trained up to be a great technician. They'd have all the onboarding process, they'd have the training, they'd have a trainer assigned to them, they'd have in-person days in the classroom, they'd have ride-along days with a trainer, and within 7 days, they could be a really, really good technician, and that's how you want it done. If you don't have processes like that in place, you are completely reliant on people and just how they are when they come in. You do not want to be that way. You want to be able to craft people into great employees, and if you don't have that, you're always going to be reliant on people, and there's not always going to be great people in the area. So focus on your internal systems. How can I fix this? How can I craft the system to be machine, essentially, that outputs great people? What do they need to learn? What do they need to develop? What do they need to know so that they can be put out on their own in 7 or 14 days and do really, really good in this role? Then just back into it. Figure out what that process looks like. Figure out what the days look like. What is the training? What do they need to sign? What do they need to know? And just build that in your company. So anyone, literally a fresh high school graduate or just someone with no experience can come in knowing nothing and become great. Focus on your processes. Don't focus on the people outside your company. How can I keep good technicians longer in my company? Now, this is really important to know. Most companies only do one thing. Now there's 4 you need to know. Most companies only try to pay more and more and more. The longer you've been in business, the more you realize that people don't care about pay. Now they want to make money, but pay is not why people stay in a company. There are 3 other super important things that you need to do in your company that's going to keep good guys in your company longer. So number 1 is recognition. You need to recognize your guys' hard work. They're working 8, 10-hour shifts every single day. They're out in the heat. They're dealing with angry customers. They're dealing with chemicals and messes and lifting heavy weights. They're dealing with tons of stuff. And while you're sitting in an air-conditioned office. So you need to understand that and give them the recognition they deserve. At least weekly, reach out to them, text or call or send a video of you saying it or a voice message. Let them know how much you appreciate them. Anyone who's lost a technician when they've quit, you know how vital those people are in your company. It's going to set you back and it really just puts a wrench in your company. So make sure that every single week, these guys know how much you appreciate them. On a weekly basis, meet with all your technicians and look them eye to eye and tell them, I really appreciate what you do, and bring up specific things. Hey, I know you went to Kathy Jones' house. I know it was a long job. It took an hour and a half. You did amazing. I appreciate that you go above and beyond. I really love having you in our company. Those things alone can keep guys way longer. If they realize that what they're doing is appreciated, they're going to stay longer in your company. So number 1 is recognition. Number 2 is responsibility. Nobody wants to be a technician forever. They came in as a technician and it could be 5 or 10 years later and they're still just a technician. At the same time, there's likely a lot of things that you or your office manager or other people are doing in the company that you can delegate to this person and make them feel valued and respected and trusted in the company. So chemical ordering or chemical stocking or cleaning the garage or maintaining equipment, maintaining vehicles, doing truck checks. All those things are little things that you might have just kept to yourself or might not even be happening in your company. Give that to your guys. Show them, I respect you. I trust you. I'm going to give you more responsibility because I want you to be a bigger part of this company. So now you're going to be over the vehicles or you're over all the chemicals, stocking them, reorder them. If anyone has any questions, they're going to ask you. You're going to disperse it to all the technicians every single week. So you can really up-level your company by giving your guys more responsibility, and it shows them that you trust them. It's going to keep these guys here longer because they have more responsibility. They have a bigger piece of the pie in your company. So give them responsibility. Number 3 is growth opportunities. Again, no one wants to be a tech forever, but most people are. So you need to show them a path of how you're going to grow in the company. So when they first come in, they should be at the very bottom tier, maybe a trainee, and then they become a technician, and then they can become a trainer, and they become a service lead, and they can become a head tech, and then a branch manager. Show them the path of what's possible if they stay with you. And those roles might not be available right now in your company. So it might be just a vision of showing them what's possible. That's also going to get them bought in and staying longer because they see, hey, if I work hard, if I do what they need me to do, more roles are going to open up and I'm going to be a big part of this. And you tell them you're going to be the first in line to become this role or this role or this role. And they're going to see that vision. So sell them on the vision, sell them on the growth, and do these 3 things on top of good pay. Good pay alone is not going to keep your guys. Recognition, responsibility, and growth is going to keep good guys longer in your company. How do I know who I should promote in my company? Man, this one is one that I think should be obvious, but most people do wrong. So many people promote or their head tech is the person that's been there the longest. I don't know why that is, but they just think if he's been here 10 or 15 years, I got to show him respect. I got to make him the head tech. And they think, oh, he'd be pissed if this new guy became the head tech. That's a good thing. It's the exact reason why that needs to happen in your company. If someone who's been here the longest just becomes the leader because they've been there the longest, that's not what you want to happen. Now they're just going to get comfortable. It doesn't matter what they do or what they don't do. They're just going to become the leader no matter what. That's not fair. This new guy, if he's going above and beyond. It doesn't matter if he's been here 3 months or 6 months or 2 years. If he's the best one in my company, he's going to become the leader no matter what. I'm promoting my people based on results they get, not based on time they've been here. If someone's able to learn a skill faster and get better results and do a better job than someone who's been here 5 times longer than them, then they need to be the leader, because then they need to teach everyone else how to do those things. And they're going to be the standard going forward. If you have a leader that's been there for 20 years and he's just comfortable and he's just complacent, he doesn't do a good job, you're setting the culture in your company that shows we just care how long you've been here. We don't care about the work you do. That's not what you want to do. And you're going to push away good people anytime they come to your company, because they're going to see, I don't have any way to grow because it just matters how long I've been here. So make sure you promote based on performance and results, never based on how long someone's been with you. Would you work with family in your business? Now, forget my family. I don't want to work with them. No. And honestly though, I would not work with family because it just becomes really, really messy. There's a lot of times when pest control owners bring in a cousin or a brother or a friend or someone close to them, and they become a part of the business, either a technician or a co-owner or something like that, just because they're family. You might need to hear this. You do not owe your family a role in your company. This is your company. You're building it. Just because someone's related to you or they're your best friend from college or high school or whatever, they don't deserve a job in your company. They need to earn it just like anyone else. If this person doesn't have the skills that I would hire for, I'm not going to bring them in just because I'm related to them. So if anyone wants to apply or work with me in my company, I'm going to put them through the same exact hiring process that I put anyone else through. My parents owned a frozen yogurt shop when I was a kid. And I remember I was 15 or 16 years old and I was going to apply to work there. And I thought I just had a foot in the door. I thought, okay, I'm just going to, work at the company and I'm just going to, dish out frozen yogurt. And I got the job just like that because my parents owned the company. My mom sat me down at the kitchen table. I thought I was going to sign paperwork, but she put me through an interview. I had no idea what was happening. I kind of laughed the first few questions, but she was serious. And she said, if you want this job, you need to interview for this job. And so then I took it serious and I was like, okay, this is legit. And if I'm not fit for this job, they're going to hire someone else. So you need to do the same thing for your friends or your family. Don't just hire them because you know them. Some people think it's a shortcut because you don't need to train them or teach them certain things just because you already know them. And they think it's just going to make it easier. It actually makes it a lot harder for you and your company, because those shortcuts are going to be what's cost you in your company. If they have shortcuts with you, they're going to have shortcuts with customers or shortcuts with processes you're trying to install. And it becomes really hard for you to be hard on people or crack down or tell them certain things because they're family and you like them. And so you don't want to do those hard conversations. So keep family out of your company. The only time I'd bring them in is if they go through the full interview process. And if they are legit the best person you interview, then hire that person and keep them to all the same standards you keep all your other employees to. What's the most important metric to look at in my pest company? This one is one that doesn't get talked about enough. And I would say the most important metric is how much it's costing you to do a service. So another way to look at it is, what is your gross profit? Your top line revenue is all the money that comes in. So if you made $1 million last year, that's your top line revenue. Gross profit is what's left over after the service has been complete. Now there's 3 expenses that go into completing a service. There's paying a technician to do the service. There's the chemicals that you put on the house, and there's gas to drive to the house. So subtract those 3 costs and then you have your gross profit. Gross profit is super important because after that, then you have all your operating expenses. If it's costing you too much to just do the service, you have no money left over to pay office people, to pay rent, to pay insurance, to pay marketing, to grow the business, to pay yourself. So if there's none of that left over, you're never going to grow. Too many companies are strapped because it's costing them too much to do a service. Their routes aren't optimized, or they're spraying too much chemical on each house, or they're just driving way too far, or they're paying technicians too much as a percent of revenue. So you need to tighten your cost of service. If it's at 75%, you're in a good range. Most companies are between like 50 and 60%. So in other words, just after you spray the house alone, you have half of that left to run the rest of the company. That doesn't make any sense. You need to keep at least 75% of the revenue after the service is complete. That's how you know you can actually build a company and grow more and more. So the number one thing I'd look at is, what is my gross profit? That tells me so many different things about the company as far as efficiency and how fast we can scale and how good things are running internally. So focus on gross profit being over 75%. How much should my net profit be in my pest company? Now, I cannot tell you. What shocks me the most is how many owners do not know what profit is. It shocks me. I can't tell you the number of times I've asked a pest control owner, how much revenue did they do? And they'll say, $900K last year. Okay, great. How much profit did you keep in the business? And they'll say $500K. And I'll say, okay, so your business bank account grew by $500,000 last year. And I'll say, oh, no. Then I paid myself, and I also paid for chemicals and insurance and rent, and I paid my employees. I was like, do you know what profit means? Profit is basically what you keep after everything's paid for. So money comes in the business, customers pay you after you pay for everything, for your trucks, for your chemicals, for your equipment, for insurance, for marketing, paying yourself. What stays in the business bank account after all the money and expenses are gone? Once I tell them that, they say, oh, like nothing. So many pest control owners are not making profit, and it kills me. Profit is why you started your business. You didn't start your business just to have another job. You want profit in your company. So when you look at profit, you want it to be at least 30%. Now, if you're growing your company way faster, if you have door-to-door sales reps, it might be less than that. It could even be negative. If you're a solo operator, if you have one technician, it should be higher than that because there's less payroll to go around. But in general, it should be around 30%, meaning if you do $100,000 of revenue in a month, your business bank account should grow by at least $30,000. Don't get distracted or confused confused and think, oh yeah, I'm just reinvesting in growth and that's why I don't have any profit. No, most owners are just broke and they're breaking even because they don't know what they're doing. Focus on how you can keep more profit in your company. What can you cut? And anything you are spending money on should be getting you a return. So if you spend $1 on Google, you should get money back. If you spend $1 on a technician, you're getting money and time back. Anything you're spending money on should get you money back. And if it's not, cut it out. So many owners spend way too much on just random subscriptions or softwares or tools or people that aren't getting them a return. So audit all your expenses, get your profit to be at least 30% per month, and you'll be shocked with how freeing it is and how much faster you can grow because you've got way more capital to run your business. What should my collections percentage be in my pest company? Now, let me tell you a crazy story. Imagine this, a pest control owner who runs his company year round, so all 12 months of the year, and he's on recurring services. And in the month of June, they go out and do all their services. All their technicians go out, they come back, they do all their services, and they make no money during the month of June. None of the services they did, but also none of their recurring like monthly billing, no one pays them at all. Imagine being that owner. What's crazy is a lot of companies are exactly like that owner. If you collect 92% of your revenue, you are doing an entire month for free in your company. You're working an entire month and making no money. It's crazy. Most people don't realize that. So many owners tell me, oh, it's great. I collect 90, 92, 93%. That's an entire month you're working for free. You want your number to be at 98% or higher. So for all the customers you do jobs for, you do all their services, 98% of that money should come in your bank account. If you are below that, you need to tighten up your process either before the sale. And so once you sign someone up, getting their credit card on file or explaining auto pay to them and getting that locked in and non-negotiable, or after the card gets declined. And so once the payment gets failed, a process in place to reach out to that customer right away. Don't wait 10 days, 15, 30, 45. Don't do any of that kind of stuff. Reach out the same day, reach out the next day, and the next day. And do it in 3 ways. Do manually, texting, calling, and emailing, and also doing an automated text as well. Reach out to the person like crazy. That's going to get more people getting their card on file. Some owners are like, no, I don't want to do that. It's crazy. Like they're going to pay me eventually. No, eventual isn't good. You need money in your pocket now. You just did their service. No other business lets you do that. If you go to Walmart and try to buy groceries and walk out and say you'll pay them later, they're not going to let you do that. Too many small business owners are super lenient because they don't want to rub their customers the wrong way or try to force things. The thing is, if you're doing that, then you're actually costing yourself. It's no benefit to the customer or to you. So be very strict with what's required up front to be a customer of yours, card on file, auto pay, and then be very strict once a card gets declined. Get your number to 98%. There's likely tens of thousands of dollars just wasted or just sitting in your company that you're not collecting. Go get that right now. What should my auto pay percentage be in my pest company? Now, if you allow new customers to sign up and not be on auto pay, you are crazy. There's no reason anyone should pay you with a check or with Venmo or Zelle or cash. Don't accept any of those. You want to get almost everyone on auto pay. There should be a very small number of exceptions you make. It might be just the 98-year-old grandpa that literally has nothing else besides check. That's fine. But for everyone else, they need to be on auto pay. It's going to make your life super easy. It's going to make everyone's life easier. It's also going to make the customer's life easier, whether they like it or not. So in my company, we always required 94% to be our standard. It's kind of like in school, 94% was an A. So 94% was our standard. We left a little buffer for those old grandpas who don't have anything else, and also for the times when cards get declined. And so the number would drop because those people weren't on auto pay. So 94% is a good standard to have. It's going to keep your office people locked in and making sure they need to get card every single time and be a decent buffer so it's not an insane standard to have. An easy way to bump that number higher from where you currently are is incentivize your office staff to go get cards on file. So anytime a card gets declined or canceled or anything like that, you say, I'll pay you $5 for every card you get back on file. Every single week, I was paying my office people tons of money, $5 per card, and they were just hungry because they'd go get it every single time. And it's easy money for them, and it's great for the company as well. It's super worth it. If you don't have a lot of people on auto pay right now, maybe you're at 30% or 20%, you need to give your customers an incentive to get on auto pay. I don't care how long they've been with you. I've heard every excuse of, oh, my customers are old school, or oh, they say they don't have credit cards, whatever. Give them a reason to get on auto pay. Now, there's 2 ways you can do it. Either give them an incentive or save them from a punishment, quote unquote punishment. So incentive would be, hey, on your next bill or on your next service, I'll take $10 off if you're on auto pay. Great. That's great for the customer. Save $10. Here's my card. Or you can let your customers know at the end of the summer, we're raising our prices, and anyone who's on auto pay is not getting a price increase. So I'm saving you from that punishment or from whatever you want to call that. That's going to get a lot of people on auto pay, or you're just going to raise their price and cool. Now we get more money from this customer, and I'm still going to try to get them on auto pay. So I'll tell them that later. Get customers on auto pay, get it to 94% plus, make a push to your current customers, and it's going to make your life easier. And you're also going to collect way more every single month. So collections and cash and revenue will be way smoother across the board. What should my reservice percentage be in my pest company? Now, if you have a 0 or 1% reservice percentage and you think that's great, you're actually wrong. Too low of reservice numbers is actually a really bad thing. Think of it this way. If you go every single month to a customer's home and you're servicing the house and you have 0% reservices, how long could you have gone before they actually needed a service? You're likely going too often. Could you have gone every 45 days or every 60 days? When did they actually need the service done next? So you're actually spraying too much chemicals. You're actually going too often. You're actually costing yourself too much to go. And so if you're going monthly, I would switch all your monthly customers to a bi-monthly service and get to a healthy range of reservices. The healthy range is between 3 and 9%. So if you're above above 10%, or if you're in double digits, that means there's issues in your service. So either the issue with the actual quality of service being done, maybe technicians are rushing through the service, or they're only doing parts of the service, or they're just missing things overall, or there could be issues with the expectations being set with the customer, either from the sales rep or the ops person, or from the technician in person. When we audited our reservice percentage, we found it was really high for a few technicians. And when we really dove into it, we realized that some technicians were just over promising reservices, basically telling customers, hey, if you need us back next week, call us back next week. Or anytime you see a single bug, we'll be right back. It's totally free. It's on us. Technicians likely don't realize what it's costing the company and how to run an efficient company. So don't leave it to them to tell the customers about reservices. You need to train them on that. So make sure that expectations are being set well with your customers, and also make sure that the number is not too low. If it's too low, you're costing yourself a lot of money. And if it's too high, you're costing yourself a lot of money too. Get in the healthy range of 3 to 9% reservices month over month. How many services per day should my technicians do in my pest company? I actually cost myself a lot of money in my own company by doing this incorrectly. When I started my company, I wanted high quality service. And so I blocked off an hour per service for every single service. So we'd sell 10 new customers, and that'd be a full day for technician, and he'd go do those 10 services. And then on those recurring services, there'd still be 1 hour per service. Now, a lot of you guys do 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes per service. You can't even imagine what you could do in 45 minutes to 60 minutes on a house. I know, it's crazy. My guys were on property for at least 45 minutes per service. I really valued high quality service, and I really took it to the extreme. And so guys would just go above and beyond and do everything possible. Trust me, we did really good services, but it was costing us a ton of efficiency and a ton of money. Once I realized that, we scaled things back, and I still kept 1 hour blocks for initial services and for reservices because I really wanted those done well. And I wanted to show the customer we're different than most companies. We're going to be on your property and we value you and your property. So 1 hour for those. Technician was required to be there for at least 40 minutes on property. For any other service, so just for recurring services, it was 30 to 40 minutes. So if you do it that way, the average we had was 15. That's actually what we max out at. We wouldn't do any more than 15. Some companies out there do 18, 20, 22 services per route. Don't do that. At that point, you're just rushing way fast through services. You're sending technicians the wrong impression of what you care about. You just care about revenue and money and new stops, just getting through all the stops. We want to care about the customers. How can we be different than all other companies? How can we charge more so that we can spend more time with the customer? That's what I would focus on. Do a really high quality service, block off hour time slots for initial services, and then just make sure recurring services still have good quality time there. How do I know if my technicians are performing well in my pest company? You don't. Most owners will just say, like they seem like they do great, or they're always on time, or most customers love them, or they've been with you for a long time. Those are not key indicators or metrics of high performance. You cannot go based on gut feel or just based on what you think. You need to create a scorecard. And let me give you the hack for this. So when I started my company, I knew I wanted a really high quality service, and at the same time, I wanted to have standards for my technician. The best thing to do is to merge those two things and create a recipe in your company. How can I create a recipe that when that's all baked together, the end result is a great service? So if I can control the inputs, how can I make it a great output? And I found 5 or 6 things that controlled it. So being on time. So on time to start the day and on time at each service. On time was 1. The time spent at the house. So how long are they actually on the property doing the service? 2 pictures per service. So a before and after picture for every single house. A detailed note after every single service. And then their driving score and their reservice percentage. That was kind of separate. But for those first 5, if I can control those, if a guy shows up on time, spends 30 to 45 minutes on the property, if he takes pictures of the property, if he leaves a detailed note, and if he's driving safely, that's 9 times out of 10 going to be a really, really good service. There's not much more I could control that would make a great service. It's hard to go wrong and mess things up if you're doing those 5 things. So those were the standards that we set, and those were the standards for our technicians. And by default, we had really good services. So we could control the output, and also we're controlling our technicians and seeing, hey, here are the standards we have. And if you're underperforming, we can see that visibly. So create standards for your technicians. And when you do it, make sure it's basically a recipe for success. So it's a win-win for you, the customers, and for your technicians. Now, before you get another truck, you need to do this first. Shift your guys from how they currently work to 4-day work weeks. So for example, if I have 3 technicians and they're doing 5 days per week, that's 15 routes per week. So before I'm going to go buy another truck and then get me up to 20 routes, don't do that yet. Shift your guys to 4-day work weeks. So rather than working 5 days, they're going to work Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You can just mix it up whatever you want, and you can get a whole nother truck or 2 out of those work weeks. So right now, 3 guys working 5 days per week, that's 15 working days. If I shift it and all my guys are working 4-day work weeks, I can get 2 more trucks before I need to buy another. So before I buy another truck, you can actually fill 2 more routes with 4 trucks. Should I offer discounts in my pest company? Now, if you do this one wrong, it's going to hurt your company bad. But if you do it right, it can be a huge boost to your company. So you probably have customers that ask you, hey, if I pay the year in full, can I get a discount? And most times you probably say yes. Do not do that. The reason is you're going to run into issues. The first one is you have to resell this customer every single year again and again and again. So the customer pays you, let's say $600 today, and it might be nice to get all that cash right now, but then next year, 12 months from now, you have to resell them again on another year pest control and convince them again and again and again. The other issue is anytime you go to raise prices, these people notice it way more and they're going to push back back way more too. They're going to say, oh, I thought last year I was at 600. Why is it 650 now? Or what's going on? Or can I get a discount? Or let's keep it the same price as last year. All this nonsense, it just is a headache for you. On the other side, someone who signs up and is just paying you $50 per month. If you raise their price to just $55 per month, these people never notice, never care. There's never an issue. So I would rather sell someone once and keep them forever rather than having to sell them every single year. It just becomes a headache. So do not offer discounts for paid in full for the year. If someone wants to pay me in full for the year, sure, pay me the full amount. I don't care, but I'm not going to offer a discount. I'm not going to incentivize that. Where you do want to offer discounts is for initial customers who are getting their first service with you. I'm going to offer a discount to get them on a recurring service with me. I'm going to make that the better option. I'm going to incentivize recurring service. So how you want to do it is anchor the price twice as high as what you want to get them at. Give them a discount that's conditional and it's based around some season or some holiday or something right now that's time bound, and then get them on recurring. So how this goes is I'll say, after I've already explained the service and asked them questions, I'll say, okay, normally for a house your size, it's $399, but we're doing a 4th of July discount. So for all new customers this week, we're doing 50% off. So for you, it's just $199. And the best part is you get that discount every service going forward as well. So it's just $199 per service. So this gives them a reason to buy today. It gives them a discount. It gives them time-bound reason, and it makes it special for them. So I do that to get them on a recurring service now, and I would never do annual discounts for annual paid in full customers. So use discounts at the right time to get more people saying yes. You'll be shocked at how many times people say yes. The people you thought were tire kickers or needed to talk to their spouse or were just price shopping, they're actually not. They want pest control. And if you give them a discount and a reason to say yes today, they will buy today. Use a discount in the right place to get people saying yes. Do not use it at the wrong time to force you to have to sell more and more customers every single year. How do I stop competing on price with my competitors in my pest company? Now pull out your wallet. You need to detach yourself from your wallet. So throw your wallet, forget about your wallet. You need to focus on your ideal customer's wallet. I learned this for the first time when I was doing door-to-door sales. I was 17 years old, fresh out of high school, had never, sold anyone, really talked to so many adults like that, or try to get a credit card from an adult. It was all new to me. I remember knocking doors in these big old houses. And for me, the most I'd ever spent on anything was maybe $100, $200. I was out selling customers on $700-800 per year for pest control. That was mind-boggling to me. I would never pay that, obviously. I'm a 17-year-old kid. And so I had to detach myself and my wallet from what customers are willing to pay. Be willing to charge customers what they want. And the way to do this is to sell on value, not on price. If you're selling on price, you're always going to need to undercut to get the customer, and you're going to get customers who want the cheapest price. So once they find a cheaper price, they're going to go to there, or they're going to always ask you for discounts, or they're always going to want, just cheaper prices in general. If you sell on value, you're going to find people and get customers who want value, who want high quality, who want premium. They don't care about the price. They want the results. So anytime you talk to customers, make sure you focus on what they get, not what you do. So rather than saying, what chemicals we spray or the exact bugs we're taking care of or how long the guy's going to be there, focus on what the customer gets. They get peace of mind. They get time saved because they're not outdoing themselves. They get a cleaner home. They get peace of mind knowing that there's not going to be bugs in their property. They can enjoy their backyard now. What is this customer getting that they don't currently have? That's value. And if the value is greater than the price, they're going to sign up with you. So detach from your own wallet, charge from the customer's wallet. They're willing to pay for it. So we all know as pest control owners that chemicals are pretty inexpensive and everything's pretty inexpensive generally. But if you just charge based on what it costs you, you're leaving no margin for growth and new hires and marketing and ads and insurance and more trucks. There's no margin left over. So many guys say, oh, it only cost me $20 to do a service. I'll just charge 40 for it. I'm making $20. No, you're really not, because there's way more expenses you're not thinking about. So focus on value, detach yourself from your own wallet, charge from the customer's wallet, and charge based on value, sell on value, don't sell on price. In my company in Arizona, we sold for twice what other companies were selling for because we sold based on value, not on price. So other companies were selling 50, 60, $70 per service. We were selling 130, 140, 150 per service for what you could call the same service, but we sold based on value, not on price. If you were to invest in a pest control company, what would you look for first? Now, I would not look at revenue. I would not look at those kind of numbers first. I would first look at what happens when the owner leaves. So if this guy leaves even just for the day or for a week or for a month, what happens to the company? What happens to the team? Does the company keep growing? Does sales keep happening? Is marketing still going? Also, what happens to the culture of the company? If the company only grows when the owner's there, and if he needs to be there, or he or she needs to be there to grow the company, that's not a company I want to invest in, because it requires them to be there and it's very reliant on the owner. If the team kind of falls apart, or if they just drop their standards or do poor services when he's gone or she's gone, I don't want to invest in that company, because it's all reliant on this owner. And if this owner dies or something happens, then everything's going to fall apart. On the other side, if this person leaves and the company continues to grow, services keep happening, everything's running really smoothly, things are growing in the company, that's a company I want to invest in. Because if a company can grow without the owner, then I know that with the owner and with added investment and with things I can bring to the table, we can grow this thing even faster. And now let's talk about numbers and revenue and profit and all those kind of things, because now I know this is something I want to work with. So I'll first look at what happens when the owner leaves. And in your company, look at that first. When you leave, what happens? Because your culture and your standards are only as good as what happens when you're gone. If people only do what you want and meet the standards when you're there, then you don't have a good team. You don't have a good culture. For the 4 months leading up to the sale of my company, I was completely removed from the company. I was was multiple states away doing door-to-door sales for a different company with my team. And so I moved out of state. And I was just checking with my office manager like once or twice per week. I was working maybe an hour or two per week on my company. Everything else was happening just automatically. The company was running, services were happening, sales were happening, everything was running smooth. And that was one thing that stuck out to the people that bought my company, is that I was literally out of state doing calls with these people about my company. And they saw everything's running smoothly, things are going well. This is a company we want to acquire, because if it can run smoothly without the owner, we can buy this and integrate it and grow it well, because it's not reliant on this guy being there. So find ways in your company to remove yourself and what needs to happen. What do I need to put in place? What people, what processes, what systems, so it can continue to grow and operate without me there. When would you bring on a partner in your pest control company? Now, a lot of guys do this very, very wrong, and it becomes just an issue for them overall. So most people bring on a brother or a friend or a cousin or someone that is just like them. And so they might have been door-to-door sales buddies together, or they might have been technicians at the same company, and they're basically the same person. What you want to look for is, does this person bring money, experience, or skills that I don't have? Because if they don't, then why are they needed? If we have all the same experience and skills and time and money, then neither of us need to be here. One of us can leave and nothing's going to change. So look at, does this person bring money I don't have? If we're really tight on money, or we're trying to grow faster and I don't have that capital, I may bring on a partner who has a bunch of money and investment that can grow the company, and we can invest into growth with sales or door-to-door teams or something like that. If they don't have money, then why do I need this guy? If they have skills I don't have, so maybe I have a background in door-to-door or a background as a technician, and the person has the opposite, and they can grow that side of things because I don't have that skill, then it might make sense to bring this person on. Or do they have time I don't have? So if I'm fully maxed out and they have time to add on more work or run some marketing or do some things, then it might make sense to bring on this person because they have a capacity and time that I don't have. If they have one of those three things, then I would move forward at looking at bringing them on as a partner. It's not an immediate yes. In most cases, it doesn't make sense to bring on a partner. When I first started my company, I remember someone reached out and offered to be a partner in my company. Now, I had very few customers, and I was already getting an offer to be a partner in the company, and a pretty big investment for me. It was bigger than the number I'd seen at the time, and it was really enticing. And I thought about taking it, but what I realized is it wasn't necessary. Sure, there's money coming in, but I already had money. There wasn't skill he was bringing, there wasn't time he was bringing, and I don't want to dilute myself 50% just for an initial investment from someone else. So before you get excited about a number or about a partner or about the idea of having a partner, look at, what are they bringing? Is it something that I don't have? And then if it's a yes, do I really need that thing? How much faster is it going to grow my business? And if you do go with a partner, the thing you need to focus on is getting everything out up front. It's only going to get messier the farther you go along. So get everything written in a contract, get everything signed now. If you can't have hard conversations now, you are not going to be able to have hard conversations when there's more money on the table or more customers or more revenue or more equity. It's going to be a nightmare. So go through everything, go over who gets what when certain things happen. Just go through everything, get it written out and signed upon and agreed upon. That way, when things do get messy, because it's going to happen, people are going to argue, people are going to complain, nothing's going to go as you think it's going to go. And so you need to be able to fall back to a contract and agreement that you both signed. You cannot trust your emotions, or you cannot think that, oh, just because we're buddies, hey, we always get along, it's going to be easy being a partner. No, even if it's your best friend or brother, get it signed now. It's way easier now, even if it's hard now, than it will be in the future. What do you think pest control owners spend too much time or attention on? So many owners just spend way too much of their time on sales and new leads and growth. And now I'm all about that. I love growing businesses, but the thing is, they're focused on the wrong thing. They want to get more customers when in reality on the back end, they're leaking leads every single day, or their cancellations are super high, or their collections are super low, or their quality service isn't good, or their pricing isn't good. And so all these things are core issues in their company, and they're trying to pour more and more leads into a system and a machine that's broken. And so you can only grow so far and so fast if you have these other issues. I would rather fix all these things first, make more per customer, collect more per customer, do a higher quality service so we retain customers twice as long. We're going to get better reviews, more referrals, retain people. And if you can get that in place first, now growth will just naturally happen because people are happier, because we have more profit now, we have more revenue coming in. Growth becomes easy. If you're trying to force more leads, it's probably because there's something in the back end of things that's broken that you're not optimizing internally. So focus on upsells, focus on reactivations, create a great system first for your customers and for making and keeping revenue in your company. Once that happens, then you can market really easily and scale your company. I see way too many guys that just want more leads, more leads, more leads, and they think that's what's going to solve their issues when their business is literally just leaking. And sure, we can pour more leads in, but it's going to break your business eventually because you're leaking customers and money left and right. So I would much rather focus on the operational structure. If that's dialed in, okay, great. Let's just go get way more leads and let's turn on marketing. Let's grow fast because we know every new lead will come in. They'll be followed up with or sold right away. All the money's going to be retained. They're going to stay with us for a long time. We're going to upsell them on other plans. They're going to leave us reviews and give us referrals, and it's going to be really, really smooth. And you're going to make a ton of money on this account rather than they come in, maybe we missed the lead or we don't follow up or they stay for a few services or just a mess, but you don't even realize that. So I would rather focus on creating a perfect machine than pouring in leads. Too many owners try to pour more leads into a broken machine. What do you think pest control owners don't focus enough time or attention on? Man, this one's easy. This one's really easy. I've been shocked. Over the past 18 months, I've worked with and audited and talked to hundreds of pest control owners, the number one thing I see every single time is pest owners do not know their numbers. None of them. 98% of pest owners do not know their numbers. They're basically guessing at everything. They guess at revenue, they guess at profit margin, they guess at closing percentage, they guess at everything, and they don't know what actually is happening in their company. When you get to a certain level, business is really just a math equation. And I know most people don't love math, and that's fine. But when you get to a certain point, just everything becomes just numbers. And you realize, okay, I spend $1 here, I get money back. Or once I spend money here, here's how much I'm going to keep. And everything becomes really easy. Business is hard when you're just guessing or just trying to force growth or just trying to wing it. Most pest control owners are. They don't know what's actually happening in their company. They're just winging it the entire time. And they might not think they're winging it, but they really are. They've never checked a P&L. They've never checked anything else. They just rely on their bank account balance and they see, okay, there's money there. Okay, let's spend it. Or, okay, there's money there. Okay, let's hire someone. That's not what you want to do. Get really, really good at your P&L and you can grow a business really fast. Most pest control owners are pest control people. They're not business people. If you can become a business person, pest control is the easy side. If you can learn business and growth and finances and operations, you can scale really fast because that's what holds most people back. So learn P&Ls, learn how to analyze trends, learn how to find what is our customer acquisition cost? How much is it costing us to get new people? How much revenue can we make on these people? How much are we churning? What are we collecting? Everything's just numbers. And if you can look at the numbers, the best thing is numbers don't have emotions and the numbers don't lie. They tell the full truth of your company. Even though you might feel like, oh yeah, it's been a great month or, oh man, it's been a bad month, the numbers will tell you the truth. So focus more time on the numbers, spend at least an hour per week, just block that time off and just get in the numbers, and growth is really just pretty easy in your company.